And remember, with every bite of food, with every sip, you're either feeding a disease or you're fighting it. And you get to choose that, and no one else can choose that for you. If you want to get well and you want to feel your very best, you need to eat the way that you need to eat for your body. And people can either learn from you and jump on board, or they can just sit back and continue to eat the way they eat and be polite about it. But, there's people that make other people feel bad for making healthy choices because maybe they find it threatening. Maybe they wish they were brave enough to eat healthy and, they just don't understand it. And you know what? They don't need to. I learned very, very quickly to eat the way I needed to eat for my body. And thank goodness that I did, because I'm able to sit here and have this podcast where I can share this message with you. And I felt it really heavy on my heart to share this message. It's a really important one. So if you're the person that is sick right now or not feeling your best, and you're working on yourself and you're working on trying to feel your very best, and you're trying to eat in a manner that nourishes your body but starves out a disease, gets rid of unwanted pathogens, I want you to know to keep on doing what you're doing, and you do what you have to do for your body, because it's your life. It's nobody else's life. And so you want to live your life to the best of your potential and your ability. And kudos to you for working your butt off to eat right, to do the right things so you can feel your very best. And hopefully those closest to you will take a note and learn from that. I don't think that other people realize the struggle and how hard it is inside when you're the person trying really hard to get healthy, and you're being, taunted and picked on by other people who don't want to eat that way. It's also another big thing I see is people that go to the parties and the social events and things like that. That's kind of where they fall off the wagon. And I understand that. I really, really do. You have to remember, I'm not just saying this to say it. I lived that. I had to live that for a very long time. Lyme disease is no joke. I had to go without socializing and things like that for a few years. And even after that, it was a much, much different picture than it was before. And I just knew, look, I can easily fall off the wagon tonight, eat some food I shouldn't eat, drink some things I shouldn't drink, consume too much sugar, and I can do that. So I can sit here and pretend I'm a part of the whole group, but I'm going to pay for that. They're not going to pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to be the one that feels like crap. And it's not just a day, by the way. When you're really sick and you're trying to get well, when you mess up, you might suffer for that for 3 days or a week. And that's not a joke. Why do I want to do that? What is that going to do? If I'm around the right people who love me, then what I eat and what I drink is not going to change who I am and the personality that they're hanging out with, that they invited over. So please remember that. Another one is that, you have to typically eat earlier, right? When you're trying to be healthier, you don't eat these big late meals, because honestly, you're not supposed to really eat, any less than 3 hours before bedtime, because it just throws your digestion off. It throws your sleep off. And then that just goes downhill from there, right? I always find it really, really important to tell people to eat when you need to eat. If you need to eat at 5:30 and your spouse or whomever doesn't get home till 7, you can still sit at the table with them when they eat their food. You do not need to be sitting and eating at the same time in order to be together, in order to socialize. Food really is about being our medicine or our poison. And the social aspect that comes over it sometimes, I think, is really kind of what throws people off, and the wrench in the wheels, so to speak. And I just want you to remember that what you do today, the decisions that you make and your food choices, you're going to be the one that benefits from it, or you're going to be the one that suffers from it. So if you can't eat any sugar, if you can't have a lot of carbs right now, if you can't have any alcohol or whatever it is, chips, popcorn, if you can't have that right now and you need to do what you need to do to get well, to heal your body and get healthy, that's okay. Because sometime down the road, you're going to heal and get well, and you're going to be able to withstand a day of, eating your junk food. But when you're in the moment of healing and working on yourself, you cannot give yourself those moments, because what you do is you set that clock back. You take 10 steps backwards. If you're sick, if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have Lyme disease, you know that you cannot make one little mistake on your health. And for those who don't know, I'm not exaggerating. You can't make one little bitty mistake on what you eat or drink. You will suffer, and it'll be much more than just one day, much more than one little hour. Okay? It is not worth it. This is your life to live. And if someone else is that uncomfortable around you to watch you feel your very best and to work on yourself, well, then maybe that's something else that needs to be considered. I learned the hard way when I was sick. The people sometimes that you think are the closest to you, family or friends, sometimes you find out who those truest people are when you change for the better, when you have to deal with something they don't understand. I don't need everybody to understand whatever it is I'm going through or working on or doing. I just want you to support me. And sometimes that support looks like being respectful and understanding. And, maybe you do try to learn, right? Maybe you try to learn why it is, and you just support them in that because you love them and you care for them and you want them to feel your very best. Two people don't have to eat the same. I eat much, much different than my kids, and how I had to eat to heal my body from Lyme disease, the candida overgrowth, the leaky gut, I still eat that way. But I now can have a cheap bite or a cheap meal I wouldn't normally have, and I don't suffer from it. Maybe I get bloated. But if I'd have done that when I was in the process of healing and trying to get to where I'm at today, I would never be where I am today. And that is my point. You do what you have to do for yourself. And remember, with every bite of food, with every sip, you're either feeding a disease or you're fighting it. And you get to choose that, and no one else can choose that for you.